Well, hello everyone. How are you today? This episode is going to be a life update because I have so many people asking certain things and I've left them without an answer. So if you're one of them, please know I don't do that on purpose. I do not respond to my DMs on purpose. I am just someone. By the way, if you can hear the music on the background, I was gonna turn it off, but I really wanted music as I'm doing a live update. Music helps me dance in life, so might as well have it very present in this episode. But when I am on Instagram, my intention is always to share, give, but I'm going to start learning how to receive, which means read DMs and make time for that because I usually love giving every single message its time. I want to be present. I want to be present with you. I want to feel the energy. I want to see your intention. I'm deep. That's who I am. I've always been. I mean, I think that's why channeling comes in so easy for me, so I'm not planning to change anytime soon. But let's do a little bit of a life update. My life has been in a beautiful, almost like spiral going up, and this spiral is like it feels like every time it makes a little turn to go upwards, I'm releasing something. Although I felt like I had released a lot already. And I don't really connect it to healing. I connect it more to the embodiment that I'm ready to be connected to when it comes to age, when it comes to everything I've been going through in my life, outgrowing certain scenarios, outgrowing certain things. I think that for the past 3 years, I've been traveling so much. I had been just everywhere that the last 6 months, life, the creator, God was like, girl, sit down. Let's look at what's been happening. Let's discern. Let's look at your new toolbox. Let's see where you're sitting, which means kind of like my essence. And it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. It's been a time in my life where all the feelings have been present more than ever. It really connected me back to certain ages where I felt out of control in a beautiful way, where it was like, wait, my life is completely different now. And it made me remember when I was 17, 18, and how things kind of like all the accumulation of the past like 5 years had a result that I was really working for. So a lot of co-creation happening, a lot of um, just like results in a way. But these results are different. And the tools I was asked to use were very new. There was a lot of tools of just surrender and receiving. My past 40 days have been all about receiving, giving the same amount that I used to giving, but also redirecting what I give to other people or other spaces in my life. So I'm still giving the same amount. It's just distributed very differently. And it's been almost this big energetic hug I've been receiving from life of you're always taken care of. Always. No matter what's going on, you're always taken care of. You're always at the right place, right time. So divine timing. You're always what you pay attention to. Like when I pay attention to my intuition, it is always translated in a way that is for my highest potential. So I'm translating it in a way that actually helps me in the long term more than wanting the control. So it just proved to me that not having control is the best part of life because you get to co-create with the creator and not feel lonely or not feel like the whole weight is on your shoulders, which is a very human thing to think that I know everything. Instead, I get to receive what is mine in divine timing. So let's backtrack to end of April. Your girl, me, had been having stomach problems for like a while now. A while means probably like 4 years. Just stomach problems. I started with, oh, well, I can't really drink beer. Maybe I'll only drink wine. I love a cold beer. It's just something I love. Like, just one cold beer. And if I'm eating like atún, tostadas con atún or something, I want at least one beer. Well, I stopped drinking beer and I was like, okay, I'll go for wine. I love wine as well. Okay, we'll do that. But then along the way, like more food I couldn't eat, my stomach would hurt, I would throw up. And I would channel, it'd be like, what's going on? And it kept being, oh, you're releasing, you're going to release through your solar plexus, through your pelvis, through your stomach. It was like, okay, I'm releasing. But then it got to the point where it was like, okay, am I not really releasing the energy correctly? But then I started paying attention to, they were mentioning my divine feminine a lot as I was channeling, and I was like, okay, then what am I releasing from my divine feminine? And you have to understand that me being a channeler and guiding, receiving guidance from channeling on my own is a lot of discernment to sit down with the information and say, okay, what am I not doing right? Almost like getting myself, how can I say it? Sometimes even in trouble. Alexia, you see it. Why aren't you paying attention? So, sitting down with this information was always like, okay, I'm still releasing. I'm releasing. But as I kept healing my divine feminine, which meant a lot of slowing down, which meant a lot of receiving, which meant a lot of paying attention to who made me feel peace and comfort in their presence instead of feeling like I had to be someone else for them to accept me. That was huge last year for me. The who do I feel like I can just be me versus someone who's expecting something very specific from me. Instead of noticing this is Alexia when she's fun or when she's sad, or when instead of having to give them just one version of me all the time for them to feel comfortable, that was something that I really had to pay attention to in my divine feminine last year. In all the buckets of my life, I call buckets like family and friendships and work and all these buckets. So I really had to like understand what tools I wanted to use for my divine feminine when it came to receiving. Do I want to receive criticism that way, or do I want to connect to people who understand the tool of self, um, like reliance and self respect, that when they give me insight or some sort of comment, it won't be about criticism because it makes them uncomfortable. It will be about that unconditional love of this is what I see and maybe you should be paying attention to it. So it's that self awareness without the attack or without the defensiveness. So I started paying attention to those who maybe sometimes would worry about me because at some point I was working from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. nonstop. I would just have like 40 minutes to eat. My family members were like, you need to stop. That wasn't criticism, that was love. Right away, as I channeled, it was directly your divine feminine. Why don't you let it rest? Why don't you let it be? Why don't you let it feel? Why don't you let it feel tired? Because I wouldn't feel tired. Why don't you allow it to be tired? So it was this like lineage movement for me of understanding. I come from a grandmother who would never stop. I come from a mom who nonstop as well. Now she's healed and she's doing her own thing, but it was always this nonstop, let's go, let's do more. And that's where self worth would come from. So, what I did was like, you know what? I've been releasing, throwing up a little too much. This was January, by the way. Something's not okay. Something's just off. So I sat down and I was like, okay, let's go deep. And I asked my guides, what do I need to release to understand why I love movement, why I connect worth to movement so much? Because there's a part of me that it's not really about healing, it's more my essence that I wake up and I'm happy and let's go, and I put on music and I'm in a good mood. But then there's another part where it's a bit restless. So why is it making me happy? What is it that I feel like I need to nurture to keep that, going? And boom, it all started. Throwing up got worse, the pain got worse, and I was like, okay, we're releasing. The guidance I received was all about this loyalty to my feminine lineage of wanting to show them you did enough. You showed up for me, I'll show up for you as well. With pride, with all this unconditional love. Let's do this. That's why I wouldn't feel like it was a bad thing. So then I started redefining everything. I was like, okay, let's redefine how I do want to honor my lineage, my divine feminine, how I do want to honor myself, and how I want to exchange this energy. So I gave my divine feminine more of a direction of self-worth of the rest time I wanted to have. So how do I want to rest? What does resting mean to me? How do I define it versus how everyone else would tell me to define it? Because I had to get to know me in that tool, that divine feminine tool. And from January to like mid-April, I started noticing the kind of like the energy I wanted to go into when I was resting. Maybe my mind needed to rest a very different way than my physical body did. So I started noticing when I was just tired in my mind because I had been having sessions and I'm listening all the time. So maybe I do more vocal stuff. Why? Because I've been listening. Why would I keep listening? So I started speaking and sharing, and it had nothing to do with work. I started doing a lot more of singing that I love to do now. So it was this exchange that started almost like liberating me. And I started having all these dreams with like my ancestors and kind of like those happy moments of dancing together. So when I would feel like my physical body was very tense, I connected even more to those dancing meditations I don't shut up about. And I even got excited to like, even more excited to do the monthly playlists, the music playlists. So it was this transformation for myself as I was still being there for others. So it was this balance. And right when I started going through that, the pain got, greater. And that's because I was finally comfortable to feel. I was finally feeling in my physical body, because the sensation of my physical body more space to be heard. I was listening to myself more than listening to the external. Well, there was a day where it was a Wednesday where I had to cancel all the one-on-one sessions I had, which were a total of 8, I believe. 8 or 10, I don't remember. And that was something that I had a choice. I was like, I know I can do it. I'll work. Even with the pain, I don't want to cancel, and then I'll go to the hospital. But then I sat down and I was like, Alexia, let's use your tool of receiving. What do you need to receive versus what you want to receive? I needed to receive that space of letting go of the sessions, receive that empathy and compassion from my clients that I needed that day off. And I wanted to get some help. I wanted the help. I really did. So I went to the emergency room. The first person I call, of course, is my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to the emergency room. She is there before me because she understands that I don't really go through pain. I've had other things happen to me, and doctors are like, how are you not crying? So my level of pain is so high that for me to go to the emergency room scared everyone in my family. It was like a huge deal. And when I got there, I was like, you know what? I think it's like, kidney stones. It's hurting in the back. It's just, I was really avoiding. I didn't want to know it was anything else. That's just my truth. That's my truth. So I get to the hospital. The person's like, yeah, it's probably kidney stones because, you have the pain where you have it, like whatever. Then they take me to do like a test, and the kidneys are fine. The kidneys are like thriving. They're okay. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's not that. And then the doctor gets this almost like intuitive moment of, let me check your abdomen. Well, you know what was in my abdomen? A 10-centimeter tumor. Huge, huge for me. Maybe other people know, but for me. His face was just serious and was like, I'll send the other doctor the results. And I was like, okay, I know what I have now. So I go back to like a room they gave me, whatever. Specialist comes in and he's like, he starts touching my abdomen and he's like, how long have you had this pain for? And I was like, oh, this morning. He was like, and you hadn't felt it before? And I was like, oh, yeah. I've had, painful episodes. But I thought it was gastritis. I thought it was this, it was that, because I was throwing up. And the doctor just looks at me. He's like, you can't see the little bump on your abdomen? And I was like, oh, yeah, I thought it was, just me having a normal belly. So he just laughs and he looks at me. He's like, you have a tumor and we have to take it out. Of course, the tumor is coming out of my ovary. So it coming out of my ovary is that moment of, as a woman, of, okay, well, what are, the options? And he says, we can save the ovary, we'll cut it out, you'll be fine. So everything worked out fine. That same day, 2 hours later, I was in surgery getting everything done and I was safe and sound. Now, the recovery was around 2 weeks, but of course, the first days I couldn't really move, I couldn't really do much. And it was when it hit me. It was the moment of a release. My solar plexus is free to express itself now. Why? Because I'm receiving. Why? Because I'm feeling. Without feeling, you can't express. Without truly feeling your physical body. I teach people to feel their spirit. Many people call it intuition. I just call it you being connected to your spirit, your fraction of light, the expression of what you truly are in a physical body. I was missing more of the physical body connection, of feeling my physical body. And I mean, it's extremely connected, not just to healing my divine feminine, but also being a channeler. Why? Because I'm always up in the ether. And it made me really ground, stay in the ground, connect to the ground and be like, girl, pay attention to the ground. So this made me almost anchor my spirit even more. And I felt how like even my throat chakra opened to expression, to being me way more. Maybe I wouldn't even be doing a live update without that happening, honestly. So for the 2 weeks, I'm very blessed to have an amazing family where we all take care of each other. We're a team. We celebrate each other all the time. And it's been something that is the reflection of our healing, of years of going through so many things together and understanding that we all have, each one of us has their own superpower and we get to share it with one another. That's why I emphasize on healing in your family so much, because it is the tribe and soul connections that you choose to live with. There are exceptions, but they're very rare. Those exceptions are very rare. But okay, the first 3 days of recovery, I could almost sense the lack of energy from the tumor on my physical body, and I could sense the energy of the space, the new. So I really decided to be intentional and redo my list of tools and be like, okay, what tools do I have now? What tools did I just activate through this like 1 day change of having something, releasing it in such a physical way? And I noticed that really the tool of giving was missing its partner, its teammate of receiving, in a way that was a little more open to, how can I explain this? To that vulnerable part of being human. So it was very beautiful to sense it. It was very beautiful to know, okay, if I see everyone as powerful, because I truly do. I think being human is a powerful, powerful thing. And I always talk about how being imperfect is part of being human. Then what is the tool of imperfection for me right now? And that tool of imperfection had a lot to do with, I also get to receive love in ways that I can't imagine, that I won't know, that exists, because I just received the deepest form of love right now from the Creator, which was to release such a massive energy that was in my lineage, that doesn't belong to me, I got to have a healthy ovary still and be catered, be taken care of, have 2 weeks off with amazing clients who understood and actually sent me so much love. Like how much the blessing of it all. So that unexpected way of receiving love is usually one of my favorites. And in the moment of waiting in the waiting room for the surgery, my mom did tell me, almost like, how can I say it? Like, you have to be okay with that physical way of connecting that, you do sometimes need a doctor. And that's something that I never said no to. It's more of being open to understanding that. And I've said it so many times in my masterclass because I get this question of, should we be against something or should it, no, be open to everything. My mom's worry, I could feel it. She's probably not going to say it out loud, but I could definitely feel it in my heart. And her worry was, how did I not make her go to the doctor when I knew she was throwing up? How did I not push her? And I understood in that moment the impact of me not taking care of myself and how it impacted everyone around me. So it really also activated that tool of responsibility at a greater level of understanding how we all impact each other and how we coexist with one another, which again, it's something I teach. But the tool just got stronger. It just got more intimate in me. And that's how life is. That's why I always tell people, maybe you're just done healing, but you're embodying the tool along the way even more, even deeper. That is part of my life update, which was an experience to just ground myself a lot more and really also think about what I truly want, how I want it, how I can do many things, but what do I truly want to do and why? So the tool of selfishness was a bit activated as well, and understanding the tool of boundaries and that release. I was also shown the doubt of people saying, well, weren't you supposed to know? Weren't you supposed to know that this was going to happen? And that is something that I've always talked about, how beautiful it is to be human, have the human experience, because we're out of control. I can read energy, I can translate it, I help people heal all the time, and I feel very, very fortunate to do so. But I am not the creator. I'm not God. No one is. That saying of I am God, I don't understand it and I never will, and I don't want to, because putting on that weight on your shoulders means that you might start manipulating in life. You might start manipulating in ways where sometimes the unknown is ready to show you something so beautiful, but you keep it away from you because of that almost like greediness of not wanting to not know. We're not here to know everything. We're here to keep discovering, keep going through evolution, keep outgrowing, keep growing. So your heart keeps expanding. And without impacts, sometimes things aren't activated within us. There's no room to grow. There's no more room to give more. So the way I translate the energy is very focused on the present moment and the healing moment of the past, so that you can start connecting to the possibilities and the potential of the future in the most beautiful way possible. Why? Because you're co-creating and you're accumulating. So it's about outgrowing that almost like Peter Pan mentality of I am under control when you're truly not. And really opening up your heart to understanding you're co-creating a life with the Creator, with God, as you're here to experience. And life becomes so much easier and simpler and amazing, and you get to really see the beauty and the blessing in disguise and everything when you do that. So use me as an example. Yeah, but okay. Then there was this shift in my family where we had to really disconnect from control even more, and I had to say goodbye to my grandmother. This moment for me, I want to emphasize, is a little different than everyone, or way different than everyone in my family, than many people I know, because of what I see, what I feel, what I sense. I was extremely fortunate to be able to physically and energetically see her go. So see the moment visually when it happened in both sides of energy and physical. So the sadness and the pain in my heart almost had this comfort of I really got to see where she goes, got to see her happiness with her ancestors. So it was this almost like the last 40 days when it all happened at the same time was almost this like rebirth I had physically, and then seeing my grandmother's rebirth in a more ethereal way really connected me to something I do all the time, which is I help some people transition. A lot of people come to me in my practice to help them transition when they know they're leaving in a way that is spiritual. It connected me back to those. I hold their hand when they're going through more of a mindset shift, and there's a rebirth in the mindset, and there's this almost like scary moment for them, almost like this dark moment where they can't really see what's going on, but I get to see for them. I was able to hold my family's hand during this time, and it was the biggest blessing I've ever had in my life to be able to be me, and being me give them something. So that already gave me back so much. And although it is of course a very difficult time as a granddaughter to just see happening, because we all want to be eternal, we all want our loved ones to be eternal, I do keep in my heart that beauty of seeing how at the end of the day we always go back home, and we always go back to our loved ones, and we're always connected. The beauty of sensing her all the time as well. But okay, my loves, that's my love life update. It's been a huge moment in my life, and I felt ready to share with all of you because it's been truly 5 years of putting myself out there and showing everyone my gifts, because I love very intimate spaces. I love intimacy in a way where everyone gets to have a safe space to be, have a safe space to feel powerful, to feel vulnerable, to speak their mind, to speak their heart. It is something that I've always taken care of since I was very young. The moment of seeing someone and truly seeing them without the mask. Once they put on the mask again, I let it be. I say, okay, sometimes you feel safe to show, sometimes you don't. To me, it's been 5 years of letting go of this fear of not being really perfect as a channeler, not really having to almost show up as the version that everyone wants, when in reality, my loves, I drink. I love clothes, so if I want to look sexy, sometimes I'll look sexy. I define me, and part of me is being a channeler. So if you're in this space, in this intimate, safe space, you're always going to see me as I am. You're always going to see Alexia as Alexia. I can't fit a box, and I won't. It's been this beautiful journey for me to outgrow this almost like I need to be perfect and I need to show up in a certain way for people to even trust my work. But in reality, my work speaks for itself, and I'm very proud of that, because I'm not going to be fake humble and be like, oh my god, no, it is what it is, and I'm proud of that. So I invite you to notice if you're trying to fit yourself in any boxes or trying to know better or know everything. We're here to experience life. We're here to feel all the feels. I just invite you to not connect yourself to all emotions around you. That's just energy and motion you can disconnect from. But feel. That is your spirit talking. And sense your physical body. That was my lesson. Sense it. Yeah. From someone who would work out and do all these like athletic stuff to eat healthy. No control, my loves. Just receive the blessings in disguise that will show you the right path, that will show you what you can't see, even if you're highly intuitive, even if you're a channeler. There's something beyond, and that's a huge gift. We're here to experience and have fun as humans. So I invite you to do that. I invite you to hug yourself in that process. You are worthy of having your own experience, your own process, and someone give you a path where it's like, wow, food tastes so good. Wow, this is what crying is. Wow, this is what being excited is. You get to hold the creator's hand as you're experiencing. Okay, my loves, I'm sending everyone a big hug. I'll be back with more life updates. I have a fun summer coming up, so probably the next stories are going to be a little less, not such a big deal. Okay, sending everyone a big hug, sending so much love. Mwah. Bye.